This is an educational example based on my personal approach. Results vary widely, and nothing here guarantees profit or future performance. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Trading with Ashley show. This video is going to be so important for those of you that want to get into the stock market, but you just don't have a lot of time to trade. I've got the answer for you. I am going to be comparing 5 really popular blended ETFs, and they track the indices. This is going to help you because one of the first questions I get from all of my students when they join the community is, where do I put the bulk of my cash? And they are always looking for different opportunities. And there is one clear winner. So I'm going to go through these with you. I'm going to even share with you how to potentially trade these ETFs if you're a more active trader so that you know what to do. Most of the growth that I have seen in my portfolio have come from the ETFs I'm about to go over with you. And there's several different ways to trade them. The best part about ETF trading is the diversity is baked in, and you must realize that the market goes up over time. It naturally drifts up because the way that the market works, if you look back over the past 12 months on any given time frame, the market goes up about 75% of the time. And the reason for that is it's American companies. They are constantly innovating, coming up with new ways to make money, new ways to grow their businesses. But not only that, but the government does infuse liquidity into the market at various levels. Let's face it, the vast majority of the different individuals, the different companies, the different billionaires that support all of our government, they actually have most of their wealth in the market. So it stands to reason that the market would continue to go up over time if that's where all of our 401ks are, if that's where all of the wealth is concentrated in our economy. So that's what happens when you invest in the market. You're betting on America. You are betting on the indices to continue to rise. And it is really what has made others so wealthy. One other thing to consider is if you look at how 401ks have grown through the years. Back when my parents were working, they were really big into pension plans. Now, the vast majority of ways that companies support their employees is through a 401k. There's a lot of benefits for the companies when they do offer 401ks. So if you can imagine, there's a constant drip every single week that employees get paid. A portion of it is ciphered off into the indices. That's what helps keep it propped up over time and helps it drift up over time. And so I wanted to share with you, there's lots of ways in my community that we trade the indices. It's my preferred way of trading because it's safer in nature. The vast majority of my wealth is actually in the indices. Now, I use my trading account to create income and to funnel some of that income over into these blended ETFs that I'm going to go over with you. If you've always wondered about being able to trade and what to do with the rest of your money, you may want to consider what I'm about to share with you. One little note I wanted to share with you about my wonderful community. I have over 2,000 members now, and we have been asking them different questions to get an idea of how TWA and learning how to trade has changed their life. One of the stats that I am most proud of is that 50% of them have made a major lifestyle change after learning how to properly create income, how to properly trade. Now, that can be anything from quitting a job, reducing their work hours, or becoming a millionaire. It has been very exciting to be a part of these critical moments in all of these individuals' lives. If you want to be a part of that with me, I would love to welcome you with open arms. But for now, let's go get into the details. I'm going to show you all of the ETFs that I like to invest in, and you're going to understand at the end of this video why there's one clear winner. After I share that with you, I'm going to come back and I'm going to share with you various ways that you can consider trading any of these ETFs. For comparison purposes, I have populated VTI and VOO, those are Vanguard funds, QQQ, SPY, and then SPMO. If we look at how they perform, 1 week you can see SPMO is on top. Then month to date, still the case, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, year to date, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. you can see that SPMO is outperforming in a 5-year mark. Now, it changes if you go to a 10-year view. QQQ outperforms on a 10-year view, but it's the way that SPMO actually rebalances that makes the biggest difference in the last 5 years based on what has happened in the stock market and the fact that we are on the forefront of the AI boom. So I like looking at the 5-year because it's using more recent data that has a lot to do with everything AI. And so if you look at this, you can clearly see that SPMO is giving you the highest returns. But I want to take it a step further and explain how SPMO is a little bit different in the way that it selects its funds. It rebalances twice a year, and I want you to fully understand how they make that decision and how that compares to how the other ETFs do it. The biggest difference is that QQQ, VOO, VTI, and the SPY are market cap weighted index ETFs. SPMO, on the other hand, for contrast, it actually throws out the old roster every 6 months. It rescores all 500 on a risk adjusted momentum, and then it swaps out the new top 100 and it resets the weights. Turnover is far higher, holdings can change dramatically, and the fund is making an active bet that the recent leaders keep leading. If you look at VOO and SPY, that's cap weighted. A committee actually adds or removes the tickers as needed. Changes can happen at any time with the share count and float updates applied quarterly. It's the third Friday of March, June, September, and December. Turnover is very low. Typically, a handful of names change each year. Now, VTI is cap weighted as well, but it is across essentially the entire U.S. market. It does rebalance quarterly, and it uses something called packaging. It lets stocks drift within buffer bands instead of forcing trades. It keeps turnover and cost minimal. Now, the QQQ, it's modified cap weighting. So this is the one that's closest to having a real rebalance. Now, they do a full look every December and they adjust quarterly with rebalances in March, June, September, and December. Now, what makes them unique is they have concentration caps, meaning there are special rules that limit how much the larger names can collectively dominate. And they have a special rebalance that can be triggered if the largest holdings breach those caps. So QQQ does mechanically trim and redistribute the weight, but it's to satisfy diversification limits, not to capture a factor like momentum. So to put it in perspective, VOO, SPY, and VTI, those are passive, self-adjusting, minimal trading. QQQ, on the other hand, is passive as well, but it does have active concentration in cap rebalancing. And then, of course, you have SPMO that has the most active factor in selecting, and it has high turnover, but that high turnover actually helps you because it is pulling out the stocks that don't have the momentum anymore, and it's putting those in for the next 6 months that do have the momentum. They have the tailwinds behind them. That's why it is outperforming. Speaking of holdings, let's look at the current top holdings for SPMO. I think it's no surprise that Micron is at the top of this list. It has really been the belle of the ball in the entire stock market, especially over the last several months. You have NVIDIA right there at 7.5%. Micron had 12.2%. Broadcom at 6%. Johnson & Johnson, so there's some diversification there. They're at 4.2%. And then you also have Google also at 4.2%. Now, a little word about fees. Here are the fees on each ETF. So you can see that SPMO is about $130 every year if you have about $100,000 invested. QQQ, on the other hand, $180, and then the other three that are very passive, VOO, VTI, and SPY, only about $30. But if you compare that to what an active manager of your portfolio might charge, these are significantly lower. And obviously, they are performing much higher than most every hedge fund I researched. Let's look at how your investment of $100,000 would have grown over the last 5 years in each of these ETFs. You can see right here, SPMO again is on top at 272,000. So what you're looking at is a 5-year return of 172%. That's very stellar when you consider that on average, the market will return anywhere from 10 to 15% a year. Looking at a 10-year view, if SPMO stays at its current rate of growth, then you are looking at $100,000 turning into potentially $741,000 in a 10-year mark. Now, that is stellar because that is a 22% average per year over a 10-year view. Now, the others are impressive as well, but nothing quite beats SPMO. So now that you see the clear winner, what is the best way to trade this? Well, you must consider that all of these indices, even though they go up over time, they do have an ebb and flow to them, and they do pull down into various levels of support. Now, my number one favorite way to trade any of these is when the markets are oversold. That's when that RSI is about 35 or lower, looking at the 14-day RSI. Now, from some of my other videos, you may have seen that when that happens, if you're in my community, you know it because I go all in on leaps. And I typically go out further than just 1 year if the market has pulled down that much. That gives me time to be right. I don't have to catch the bottom. But if I get in on a 2 years leaps when the market is grossly oversold like that, it has worked out very well for me throughout my trading career. I even did back testing on this. And if you look back over 10 years and you apply the strategy I just shared with you to purchase leaps, 2-year leaps specifically, when that RSI is 35 or below, you do extremely well. So that's why I'm so big on that. But there's so many other ways to trade it. That's one way to trade it when the market cooperates. But vast majority of the time, the market's going up. So how do you handle that? Well, you could do sold puts on any of these. It's going to work better on the ones that are highly liquid, like the SPY and the Qs. And I love to sell options on these indices because the movement is a little bit more understood. You can watch it because it's a blended amount of companies. So you're not going to see incredible movement like you will in these high beta stocks. And that works well if you're an option seller because it's a little bit more predictable. So there's that dynamic. You can do something called put credit spreads. If you do a put credit spread or you do a call credit spread or combine the two into an iron condor, you want to make sure that you fully understand, is the market in a bullish mode or is it in a bearish mode? You don't want to get caught in a situation where you're trying to do both types of trades when the market is pushing up. You want to avoid the call credit spreads at those moments. If the market's pulling down, you want to avoid the put credit spreads. If all this is a little confusing to you, you want to consider coming into my community because I will help you in all these various ways to trade. But if all of this is a little bit foreign to you and you just said, I want to just buy it, that's okay too. If you just buy the indices over time, they will go up. That's how my children prefer to trade the indices because they're not really trading. They're more or less investing because they have busy lives and they quite frankly count on me to continue to grow the family's wealth, and they'll one day inherit that. But for their portfolios, they want to do the more passive dynamic of simply investing, buying the shares. Now, if you do that, you can do something called dollar cost averaging. Over time, you average into it, and that way you can catch it at various levels. If you're going to dollar cost average, what you may want to consider doing is doubling up your buy on red days. That will ensure that you continue to buy more when the market is red. And then if you at least have the time to check the indices every now and again and you notice that the market has drawn down significantly, that's when I actually like to go heavier in. Because remember, today's red is tomorrow's green. So that might help you if you're looking at various different ways that you want to trade the indices. Again, if you're in a community like mine, we do this quite often, and I help all of my members through the nuances of the market and what type of trade to take based on what the market is doing. Remember, if you're with me trading with Ashley, there is no trader left behind. Now, because I'm so high on those purchased leaps that are 2 years out, I'm going to actually leave a video for you that goes over all of the back testing I did that shows you why this may be an incredible way for you to trade and to grow your wealth. I'm going to leave that video for you right here.